Do you guys remember featured snippets? That feature on Google where you would search something up and it would give you like a short paragraph summarizing the top page, which would most directly give you an answer to your question. Do you guys remember that? If you don't really remember that, it's because you might be confusing it with the AI search that just exists right now, which instead of actually giving you an answer from the most well-regarded page, which was usually Wikipedia, they would just give you an aggregate source of a bunch of things, and then the answer would still probably be wrong. In fact, when I go into one of these sources that AI actually recommends or says that it draws information from, I go into it and it doesn't even say what the page says. I'm really trying to get to the bottom of why Google is cannibalizing its own search engine. But obviously, it's a side effect of AI having to seep its way to dig its roots into every technology imaginable, even something that already worked pretty well. These companies have obviously invested a lot of money into AI. You probably know the whole deal, the whole $50 million pass around between all of these AI companies. The numbers are probably even larger now. It's just amazing to me how we live in a hyper-connected world that relies so heavily on the internet, yet all of the information that you're probably trying to garner from the internet is just crap. You read an article from one of these official sources, and it's either the most rage-inducing thing you've ever read, because that's what gets clicks, or it definitely feels like it was written by an automated program. So much so that I don't even know if a person bothered to type in a prompt. Maybe they just had AI scan the page or scan pages worth of information and then produce something that would get clicks. With the featured snippets, at least it would tell me the direct website that it was drawing from, and it would read an actual line that was in that page, instead of trying to reinterpret it in this weird way that's combined with a bunch of other sources that are saying conflicting things, so you never know what actually is the right answer until you go into a website, which you should have just did in the first place. Now, when it comes to me and researching things, I like to get into the intimate details of almost anything that I'm looking into. I rarely have a 30-second Google search. But obviously, I'm not ignorant to the fact that it's not the same for most people in my generation. It's probably not the same for most people at all. Our world is constructed in a way that relies on quick information. So you literally might not have the time to actually do even a minute more of research. And if you do, you would probably want to spend that time doing something else anyway. So now, when you have an AI search result that basically confirms something that you probably already thought, because if you hear it enough or if it's regurgitated on the internet enough, it will be in the AI result. So if you basically see something that confirms your beliefs, you're just gonna go along with that and go along with your life based on that information, even though it could be complete nonsense when you really think about it. And I mentioned Wikipedia earlier. Do y'all remember how teachers would normally tell us that Wikipedia is not a reliable source, anybody can enter and edit a Wikipedia page? I don't even know if teachers bother saying that to students anymore, because they're putting all of their effort into combating just the simple entering of a prompt into an AI chatbot and entering their whole assignment there, and that's just it. But when I was young, every teacher would constantly reinforce, don't use Wikipedia, don't use Wikipedia, don't use Wikipedia. And now, especially, it feels like it's the only source I really can trust. I don't even know why. It's just probably because I've been using it so much, which is exactly what's going to happen with AI. We hear all of these warning signs, but as it integrates deeper and deeper into our lives, we're just going to be like, yeah, but I'm used to it. It kind of gives me the accurate thing, fuck it. For me, with Google Snippets, I remember it being introduced when I was in middle school, but it was actually a little earlier than that, 2 years earlier, in fact, in 2014. Google added that feature because obviously people are looking for quick answers. They're usually on their phone, and voice search was becoming very popular. This was back in 2014, 12 years ago, before we were even in this hyper smooth brain society. One thing that I had to learn that I'm pretty sure most of my generation doesn't even notice is that Google was terrible when it came to hyper specific questions. So let's say I was relying on Google Snippets for a very specific question, it would not be able to provide an answer to that, because whatever the general information was that vaguely related to the terms I put in the search bar, that is what it would give me a featured snippet about. So let's say I was using it for homework, or worse, I was trying to cheat on a test. It would just be useless for those purposes. At the very least, it trained me way more than any teacher to always look for multiple sources. Not only that, But if you see an answer that confirms immediately what you believe, you need to purposely go look for information that contradicts that, just to see if it exists. This is a semi-related rant, but it's really exhausting learning how much Gen Z cannot be bothered to think critically for even 2 minutes. We're still out here using TikTok and Twitter as a search bar. You can only interact with those things for a year or 2 years at most before realizing that all of it is just brain rotting garbage. Literally, the only reliable thing that it can give you quickly is like something that has been leaked that you probably shouldn't have seen in the first place, whether that be from a movie or some leaked photos, something that you don't need to see, and you need to see it before it gets taken down because you just have to be involved with what everybody is involved with. It is so draining trying to have a slightly intelligible conversation with somebody who clearly got their opinion from a TikTok they watched on the toilet in the morning. I can't speak for any other generation, but Gen Z is so wildly uncomfortable with saying the words, "I don't know anything about that. Could you maybe teach me or inform me?" Somehow, we have justified that TikTok and Twitter are better and more reliable sources than friends we've had for 10 to 15 years. I have to catch myself doing this. When I look at my timeline and I see somebody talking about some stupid drama, I say timeline, but I mean main page on YouTube. When I'm looking at that and somebody's talking about some stupid drama, I might watch it, and then it's like 2 minutes in, and this is only recently, but 2 minutes in, I'll realize that I need to ask somebody that I actually know, a living, breathing human, how they feel about this. But we're getting to the point where people's feelings are almost as reliable as the things that we're seeing online because it's all an endless circle jerk. It's just an endless cycle of this one posting this. Whoever is first to talk about it that has a big enough following, that becomes the majority opinion. And then if you're not on these social media sites and you haven't assumed that opinion yet, then something is wrong with you. The most hilarious part about it is that the days when you're in an argument with your friend and you pull out your phone and you say, okay, fine, let's Google it, let's really see, that's going to be quickly thrown out the window because it's going to be very soon that the AI is going to be matched to your profile and the things that you've searched up, and it's just going to give you a result that is basically saying what you want to hear. So very soon, you and your friend are going to search up the exact same thing on separate devices, and it's going to tell you two extremely contradictory things. When I use the term AI and automation, obviously it's very broad because with any computer program, especially search engines, we know that automated processes are happening in the background that we don't even see. However, I don't think anybody could have imagined that we get to this point where essentially AI has just cannibalized the internet. And now, if you're looking for reliable information, you probably have to do even more work than you did pre-AI. I'm sure that I could rant about this for a million more minutes, and there definitely will be more videos covering hyper-specific instances and problems with AI. But for now, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see y'all in the next one.